Fine.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, we'll reschedule.
Jack will reach out to reschedule. Yeah. We have witnesses who drove from far to be here.
You should hear from them.
All right.
I live here.
Okay. Thank you.
We're live on YouTube.
All righty. Welcome everybody to House Energy and Digital Infrastructure. It is Wednesday, March 19th. And we are here with Vermont Businesses for Social Responsibility to learn a little bit about their work, who they are, and here's some of their policy priorities, I think, for this year. Right. Yeah. So super. We allotted about, half an hour at the most. I don't know what you guys have planned, but thank you for joining us. I'm Representative Kathleen James from Manchester.
And I'm Scott Campbell from St. Johnsbury, County Essex District.
Chris Morrow, Wyndham, Windsor, Bennington, and former VBSR board member.
Michael Southwest Pelagonia 2. Christopher Howland, Rutland 4.
Gary Torrey, Washington 2.
And up there, 13, Burlington, former member of the VBSR Public Policy Committee.
That's right. Right.
Jack Locker, Committee Assistant.
Great. And we usually ask folks who are here in the room to identify themselves.
Sorry.
Goodbye.
Lily Foster, Burton.
Great. Thank you.
Amber McNair, Burlington Electric.
Super. Rep. Sebelia.
Excuse me. There's Laura Civilian.
All righty. For the record.
Perfect. Committee members, thank you so much for having me today to introduce Vermont Businesses for Social Responsibility. Several of you already know about us, but I wanted to make sure to come in and speak to you about our priorities on climate this year. Again, my name is Johanna de Graffenried. I'm VBSR's Public Policy Manager. VBSR represents 600 plus members ranging from small and large businesses across all economic sectors in every county in Vermont. Not only am I going to be here to speak with you briefly today, I also want to make sure that Jen Kimmich from The Alchemist, one of our leading members, as well as representatives from Burton and Burlington Electric have the opportunity to speak to you today about the impacts of climate on businesses here in Vermont. So we're a statewide nonprofit business association with a mission to leverage the power of businesses for positive social and environmental impact. For over 30 years, we've championed businesses as a force for good through education, networking, advocacy, and thought leadership. With decades of steadfast commitment on environmental advocacy, VBSR has been pivotal in achieving numerous legislative milestones in climate resilience, and we're proud of the leadership that Vermont has shown the nation on this issue. We're a network of students, entrepreneurs, sole proprietors, small businesses, Vermont's largest employers, policymakers, advocates, nonprofit organizations, and inspired individuals. I want to note that over half of the businesses in our membership are small businesses, which is businesses less than 15 full-time employees. So even smaller than the SBA definition of small business, which is 15. So large proportion of our membership these days is small businesses, including some iconic Vermont brand big businesses, for sure. I want to note that our members represent businesses working in the renewables, outdoor industries, and agricultural sectors, just to name a few. They've made investments in Vermont's economy to promote energy transition, conservation, and climate resilience across the state, and it made Vermont a wonderful place to live while employing tens of thousands of working Vermonters. Continuing to support Vermont's energy transition to renewables not only reduces climate-causing emissions, but these businesses contribute to economic prosperity in all of Vermont communities, including some of Vermont's most rural towns. The battle against climate change and its hazards, unfortunately, is far from over, as we're all very aware. These disasters continue to impact and challenge our communities, ecosystems, and the very fabric of our shared economy. The escalating impacts of climate change are far-reaching and affect many different areas of our economy here in Vermont. I want to note that, for example, in July 2023, a series of federally declared emergencies hit Vermont, and then followed again this past summer, this past July, with another whole series of climate disasters. While our changing climate is affecting all businesses, small businesses are especially vulnerable. So I want to raise up some statistics here for you all to keep in mind as you're thinking through future climate policy and defending the Global Warming Solutions Act. Thank you all so much for your hard work on that. I do want to note that approximately 40% of small businesses fail to reopen after a disaster. An additional 25% fail within 1 year of reopening, according to FEMA. And 75% of small businesses that don't have a continuity plan in their business plan will fail within 3 years. of a natural disaster. Considering the fact that the vast majority of Vermont's businesses are small businesses, and the fact that we've had these multitude of disasters year after year, it's notable the impact on our economy and our businesses when we don't act on climate and the need to build future climate resilience policies here in the state. I also want to note that in response to these statistics, VBSR is actively leading our thought partners to designing policies and programs aimed at enhancing small businesses' preparedness and resilience in this era of climate crises. Last year, we launched a free training program in partnership with Vermont Law and Graduate School's Small Business Law Center and the Vermont Small Business Development Center. We're proud of this program. It's trained dozens of small businesses for free in climate preparedness and helps them to bolster their business plans so that they can be better prepared for the next climate disaster. I also want to note that from 1980 to 2024, when we're speaking about the larger economic impacts of climate here in Vermont, Vermont experienced 19 confirmed weather and climate disaster events between those years, with losses exceeding $1 billion each in those disasters. In the 2023 floods, just 30 days after them, we had more than $27.9 million in federal disaster assistance appointed by FEMA. It's unclear if we can expect that kind of assistance from the federal government moving forward. I also want to note the Businesses Emergency Gap Assistance Program, which we firmly supported, which granted $19.4 million to Vermont businesses and nonprofits in 2023. And in 2024 had $7 million for businesses from the July floods, as well as an additional $5 million for businesses with remaining damages from the 2023 flooding. So climate change is an expensive issue here in Vermont. It deeply impacts our businesses, but our businesses are also the ones who are responding to climate disasters and making sure that we can continue to move Vermont's economy forward through an era of climate change. I've invited 3 of VBSR's business leaders to speak with you today about their support for the goals of the Global Warming Solutions Act and the need for climate action in Vermont. I want to notice that right now, Vermont is developing both the resilience implementation strategy and the next draft of the climate action plan. I know you all have been talking about that in this committee. These plans are the foundations for expanding state services to businesses and supporting Vermont's economic resilience in the face of climate change. They're literally the policy levers that we're going to continue to move forward our business resilience through. So if we roll back any challenges that we're having with the climate action plan and don't allow us to move forward with that planning, we're really going to have some serious economic challenges. We really need the resiliency efforts and proposals that are going to come out of those plans in the next year to move forward on Vermont's issues with addressing climate challenges to Vermont's businesses. So I want to start with Jen Kimmich, because she's been so politely waiting over Zoom so that she can speak to the way in which The Alchemist has been working on climate and the need for addressing climate change here in Vermont, and especially our resilience. Yes.
I was just going to ask if you and our other witnesses could submit written testimony.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I couldn't keep up with all your statistics.
No worries. That's why I write it out. I'm always happy to email it afterwards.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Does it sound okay? Can everyone hear me?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Chair James, and the House Energy and Digital Infrastructure Committee for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Jen Kimmich. I'm the co-founder and CEO of The Alchemist Brewery, an independent family-owned business that employs 50 full-time salaried Vermonters. We were the first certified B Corp brewery on the East Coast of the US, and we are industry leaders in sustainability. Our efforts to address climate change and drastic weather that it creates began after we lost our original brew pub to Tropical Storm Irene in 2011. Flooding from that storm was devastating to our small business. We lost all of our inventory, we lost all of our equipment, we lost much of our building, and we lost our only source of revenue, our restaurant. Following the devastation of the flood, we were hopeful to reopen. We had insurance after all. But after several weeks of the dirtiest and toughest work you can imagine, we were informed that nothing below street level would be covered by insurance. Further, we found out that only about 30% of our losses would be covered. We found out the hard way that most insurance policies have fine print regarding floods, even when you have flood insurance. Aside from having only about 30% of our losses covered and the loss exceeding $500,000, we discovered 2 important things in the weeks following the flood. First, Since we had become a FEMA designated flood zone, we could no longer have any new underground construction where our basement brewery was located. And second, our bank wouldn't finance us to rebuild our brew pub in the same space, nor would our insurance company provide further flood insurance. We had hit a wall. We could not possibly reopen our brew pub. No basement construction, no bank loan, no insurance. People have asked me over the years, what would it have cost you to reopen the pub, as though it was a choice not to reopen? And to that I say, there is no amount that would have allowed us to reopen. The door closed on our pub with that storm. But we were also very, very lucky as a company. Prior to Tropical Storm Irene, we had started building out our new small production facility up the road. Ironically, the day after our brew pub was destroyed, our first cans of Hedi Topper rolled off our new canning line. This is what ultimately saved our company. A whole lot of good luck with timing. Because frankly, if we did not have that new brewery up and running, we would have run out of money and hit a wall. And that is the cost of drastic weather to small business. Severe storms and flooding kill the small businesses that give our state and our main streets so much character. If it were not for our new business venture at the time, there would be no Alchemist today. Just like all of the independent cafes, bookstores, retail shops, and restaurants Vermont has lost to flooding these past 2 years, the Alchemist would be something of the past. Today, after 22 years of business, drastic weather caused by climate change is still the biggest threat to our business. The 3 main ingredients in our beer, clean water, hops, and malt, are all at threat. Between wildfires that impact hops and droughts in the UK that devastate our malt growers every year, we understand how much our business and most businesses rely on a healthy environment. I agree with Governor Scott. We need to find a way to make Vermont more affordable, but also we need to stay committed to a comprehensive energy plan that works for all Vermonters. We need to make smart investments, and we need to support pragmatic legislation that will help build a cleaner and more sustainable Vermont. We need to make smart investments today that will protect us and save us money in the future. Investments in flood and storm mitigation will only get more expensive in years ahead. The time for action is now. My company, The Alchemist, depends on it, but so does the future of our entire economy and the health of Vermont. Thank you.
Wonderful. Jen, thank you so much. We really appreciate you, and I'll follow up with you shortly.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you for sharing today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, as Jen mentioned, all of our 600 plus members have been impacted by climate change here in Vermont, whether it's insurance and access to affordability, whether it's making sure that businesses are able to continue to thrive outside of flood zones and build resiliency in their infrastructure in their business, or whether it's their supply chains, or whether it's the impact of their employees. We need climate action now in Vermont, and we need to stand by our bedrock climate legislation because our businesses need us to. It's essential for our economy. I want to make sure that I'm passing it over to Burlington Electric as well, Amber, to quickly speak about the folks who are working on the solutions to climate here and the need to stay steadfast in our action moving forward so that we can continue to promote renewable energy and a clean grid system that's more resilient to climate change. Do you want to talk that?
Hello. My name is Amber Widmeyer. I'm the regulatory specialist at Burlington Electric Department, and I wanted to say a few words about our deep commitment to climate work. BEV has been 100% renewable since 2014, and moving forward, we're going beyond the electric sector with our net zero energy roadmap, which strives to achieve net zero energy by 2030 in the transportation and thermal energy sectors as well. We're making steady progress on achieving that. And to that end, we were successful in getting another revenue bond passed this past October, with almost 80% of the Burlington voters voting to support that bond. That bond will allow us to increase our grid capacity from 77 megawatts to 90 megawatts, which will allow for us to support the electrification of our transportation and our thermal energy sectors. We've also had great support from our customers in moving these initiatives forward. We, as of 2017, are almost at about 1,000 incentives for plug-in hybrids and electric vehicles that our customers have taken advantage of to go electric with their transportation. And as of June 2020, we're at almost a 30-time uptake on our heat pump incentives than prior. So we're seeing a lot of upward momentum. In part, most of that is due to our Tier 3 incentives that we offer. And thanks to the Energy Efficiency Modernization Act that the legislature passed, we were able to augment those incentives, which was when we really started to see rapid uptake in those incentives. So I just wanted to give a few pieces of information about the success we've seen. And even after we went 100% renewable in 2014, we were still able to get to 2021 before we had to have a rate increase when the pandemic impacts caught up with us. The benefit of the electrification of the transportation and thermal sectors is it's good business practice, because the more electricity we sell, the more we can make use of the existing grid that we have, and creates ultimately a downward rate pressure for our customers. That's all I have to share.
I just want to note that Burlington Electric was a key partner in my project to electrify my historic structure. And now I don't need carbon monoxide detectors. They are legally required, but there are no sources of carbon monoxide in my home anymore, which makes me feel really good about taking care of my family that way. So thank you we did the transportation, we did the thermal, we did it all, and the hot water, and it's all great.
Yeah, Rick Holland.
Could you explain how you are 100% renewable, but you still have a biodiesel standby generator for peak demand?
Yeah. So we have enough resources to cover our demand and our load and our retail sales, and we're able to run the generator. We get payment for that just being on available
Capacity charge.
capacity. Yeah.
But so when you burn diesel fuel, you pay a fee out of your REC, you cash in your REC per se. Is that how that works?
Not exactly. I don't have numbers on hand to give you today, but I can follow up with more details on how that works. I know that we're able to cover the retail sales and the load of our customers with the renewable generation resources that we have. So that when you do the math at the end of the year, it still ends up being 100%.
So you generated enough renewable to take care of the kilowatt hour loss.
Yeah.
Say you generated, you've swapped out good weather, non-peak generation to replace for the generation that takes place in the peak demand when you have to run your.
Yeah. And it runs so infrequently that's not hard to do.
Yeah, I understand that part, but there. Thank you.
And you're one of our 3 energy efficiency utilities.
We are, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super.
I want
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Rep Bailey, Rep Allen?
No. I thought, no, only 3. With global resources being in there, one of the 3.
Global Foundries.
Global Foundries?
Global Foundries.
I don't know the answer to that.
That would make 4.
I guess that would make 4.
Vermont Gas, Burlington Electric, and Efficiency Vermont
Yeah.
are the 3
And then
headliners. And
Global Resources has their own.
Global Foundries is its own thing.
Global
Yeah.
Foundries has their own.
yeah, they're their own utility, but I don't know if they're an efficiency.
No, I don't think they're one of our efficiency
Yeah.
utilities.
No.
I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Yeah.
Rep Bailey?
Yeah, so what was the rate increase that you said you just had a rate increase?
We've had a few since I was just pointing out that we were able to do, we had almost a 12-year stretch where we had no rate increase. And then as of 2021, we had rate increases each year.
They were how much?
I don't have the numbers on hand, but I can follow up.
Thank you.
We were able to avoid the double digit increases that some utilities in England had been facing.
I see a finger. Are we also going to have a chance to hear from Burton? Okay, super. Thank you so much.
So I also want to leave you with a representative from Burton. So in addition to the renewables and electrification sectors, as well as our retail businesses, we also have businesses that serve globally here in Vermont, but have employees that work locally. And the impacts are both to the winter sports area of our businesses, as well as to making sure that Vermont employees are protected from the worst impacts of climate change.
Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony today. I'm Emily Foster. I'm a resident of Calais, and I'm the Director of People and Planet Impact at Burton. We're a global snowboarding and outdoor gear brand founded in Londonderry in 1977. Today, Burton is still privately held, family owned, and since 2019, we're a registered Vermont Benefit Corporation. Our global headquarters and flagship store, our center for R&D and innovation are all located in Burlington, and we have retail partnerships across the state, and Burton employs about 350 Vermonters, both full-time and seasonal. Climate change is not some distant threat to our business. We are already feeling the effects, from the health and well-being of our employees and our communities that we care about to our financial performance. We have a vested interest in this fight. As a snowboarding brand, our highly seasonal business is directly impacted by shorter winters and unpredictable snowfall. In January, our Santa Monica store paused operations as the Palisades fire approached, and we've seen disruptions in our global supply chain due to severe storms. Finally, last year, we saw premiums increase in our business insurance due to climate risk. What's clear is that it's becoming more difficult to grow a profitable business on a failing planet. Closer to home, our employees in our Vermont communities experience back-to-back devastating floods, disproving a once held belief that we live in a climate haven. As a certified B Corp, we evaluate our company beyond our financial performance. The health and stability of our employees, the communities where we operate, are essential to our long-term success. It is becoming more difficult to grow a resilient business on a failing planet. At Burton, we're committed to doing our part to address the climate crisis. We're here to support when disaster strikes. Burton provided over $100,000 in donations to the Vermont Community Foundation to assist in flood recovery through 25 rural mutual aid organizations. We are also working to address our own impacts and find collective solutions. We're doing this by setting ambitious climate carbon reduction targets that align with science, reducing our emissions throughout our operations and global supply chain, and by endorsing federal and state policy that supports renewable energy economy. Try as you might. Burton can't move the needle on climate solutions alone. Our ability to address the climate crisis requires systemic change. We need bold leadership to coordinate community adaptation, to stay accountable to climate science, and to find effective ways to transform our energy grids, our public transportation systems, and residential and commercial infrastructure. These solutions can benefit Burton employees and all Vermonters, particularly those who are most vulnerable. Burton stands as a partner in finding solutions to confront climate change. And as a member of VBSR, we thank you for your ongoing support for the Global Warming Solutions Act. We ask the state to invest in efficient and effective solutions to meet the challenges of climate change and to build a more resilient economy. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Great. Well, we'll definitely welcome written testimony from any and all of you. And I believe we had a Burton letter that was sent to our committee a couple weeks ago that is probably already posted somewhere on our website. But so if you just want to resubmit that, or if this is different,
Happy to.
either way, either or both.
Sounds good. We'll make sure to resubmit that.
Super.
Thank you all so much for your time today. In terms of our priorities, I just want to reiterate, VBSR is standing by the Global Warming Solutions Act this biennium. We're also making sure to participate in the Climate Action Plan drafting, and we'll be encouraging our members to participate in commenting on the draft plan that's going to be released in the next couple of weeks during the public input sessions that will be happening this April. We're also participating in the Climate Resilience Initiative and making sure that the resilience strategy moves forward here in Vermont. We're looking forward to ensuring that we protect the Global Warming Solutions Act as our bedrock legislation to move forward on all climate resilience here in the state. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. If you would like a specific business to come in and speak with you all, if there's a specific district where you all want to make sure to hear from a business that might have been impacted by climate change, never hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always happy to connect you with one of our over 600 members that are again in all 14 counties and work in all of the economic sectors across the state who have all been impacted by climate change.
Super.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
so
us.
much.